Thank you, and of course, here is Leo Hebrun, the composer, and Eugenia Montiel, my producer. Your question is coming. And of course, thank you for being here. I would like to hear you something about your opinions.
Did they finish that bridge?
No, right now they start.
They started way back.
Yeah.
They can only finish one.
How many miles?
Maybe by May, something like that could be ended.
How many miles?
How many miles? Kilometers, 10 kilometers, something like that. Miles, 5 miles, maybe. 5 miles going and go and back. 15 miles.
Tell us about the music composition, please.
Sorry?
Tell us, have your composer speak about his work, please.
Thank you very much. Well, this was an idea that I had for a long time. I studied recording engineering, and the reason why I studied that was because I wanted to try to make music using only sounds without any instruments. And so I had that in the back of my mind. I have a lot of recordings from a lot of places, and one day he comes and he asks, without me saying anything, he asks me to do exactly that. He said, like, I want you to do music for this, but I don't want you to use any instruments, just sounds. So it was like a dream come true. And I had like a year to record. I recorded a lot of sounds in the place, and then I started using different methods and different softwares and different techniques. Didn't know exactly what to do, and we came up with a lot of tracks, and then we started to see which ones worked for the film, and it was a very nice process. Well, yeah, all the sounds are recorded in the construction of the place, no? There are, only that. Like, there's one guitar at one point, but that guitar was recorded in one of the buses going to the... Thank you.
And it's nice to say that one of the most beautiful noises in the movie is that do you remember those, I don't know how to say in English, but those... It's that all the time...
But the big one, the one that is pulling the car when it's on fire, that one, that's the one you hear all the time.
And also when the bus is going back, something like that. That's amazing. All the time I was dreaming like with those noises, and when I was at the street, I was listening those noises and said, oh wow, music. But it's supposedly all the film should to be all those kinds of devices all around in any state or in any moment. For example, it's not about a very strong story or a strong success. It's just a moment to be, little moments with all the people, just to be there. And I was trying my dream in that sense, as Leo, is just to be there for a moment and trying to catch the silence or a little dream or a little problem with them, and not exactly the misery of all those people. I mean, you could see it in some way, but at the same time, they are a very nice friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, and sometimes they are a kind of a philosophers in some way. So I like the way to speak from them. So all the time I was trying to catch some words, just to put in a bag, a lot of words, and to make a speech with those.
I also think that in the end, the music ended up being like a documentary in itself. It's like documentary music because it was capturing moments and then playing with them to make music, just like a documentary.
What can I say? It seemed like there was a lot of noise and kind of violence in the work, but there was a kindness among all of those crazy guys. And how did you end up with them?
Well, the director has a very good sense to get in touch with people, and people opens the heart of him. And these people are very, very warm. Once they open to yourself, then they give you their heart. So it's, of course, it's little by little, but that's the ability of the director here. Mm-hmm.
And how many hours did you shoot to make this movie?
Well, we were shooting for 10 months, so we were more or less 3 or 4 times a week there. Sometimes more, sometimes, yeah. More or less that's the average of the shooting days. Mm-hmm.
So this is a 70-minute film. This is 1%, 5% of your total film that you've taken, or?
Yeah, there's more or less 100 movies like that. It all depends on the tapes that you want to choose in any case. But yes, I mean, the other day I was thinking that maybe I start to shoot without any research. So the workers, when they come in, and then I was there, and I took my camera and I start without any idea of what's going on. But the principal point is to be there without any problem, to make any noise with them, and to approach with them with a very friendly way. No? So in that sense, I put the camera to roll along, just to know, to understand what's going on with each character, to find out the characters. Shori and Grande are the results of many, but also, here in the United States there is a lot of people like them, and a lot of them come here, and I was trying to find out. One of them it's outside. No, but it's very difficult because everybody needs to work in several places, or in that occasion, Shori and Grande remained over there. So I was there all those times with a lot of. I was lucky to catch them in that sense. At the same time, there were a lot of several ideas of another characters that are more or less like it's without end in that sense. You need to stop one day. So that's because I have a lot of tapes. But if I could say maybe 20 or 30 tapes could have the principal ideas of the movie in several ways. I mean, maybe we have the same idea several times. And that's the point. Maybe one day I ask the same point, and another day they have the same idea again and again and again, and one day something happens.